Hey, how's everyone doing? This is just an impromptu stream. Just it's Sunday. There's nobody here at my house. Everybody's gone doing something. So figured, I don't know, I'll stream. I'm just working on some fun art for myself. Um, Obviously, I'm still in the middle of working on Corey's book, Oni. But I decided to take a little break and do some stuff for myself. Just some fun drawing on a Sunday afternoon. I figured, why not? I'll stream it for, at least 30 minutes or something, see if anybody pops in. And yeah, I mean, just off the cuff, there's no script here. There never is for me. I don't write scripts. I'm not a very, I don't know what you call it, organized streamer or video maker. I don't write scripts, just talk about stuff. So that's what we're going to do today. Until somebody pops up or pops in, wants to talk about something, I'll just I'll wing it, right? I'll wing it. So um, yeah, let me get my screen share going on here. Let's see what we got. Cat's talking to me. I always have the cat. So see what we got here. All right, let me make this a little bigger. Should I need to be big? I don't know. I'll make that big though. So I'm gonna post this up on Twitter. See if I get anybody pop in. Keep me company on this Sunday. Let me type it out real quick. See, I told you, I'm not a production guy. I'm not even prepared. I'm doing this as you're watching me do it. All right, so I'll pop this in. Of course, every time I post, if anybody watches this later, or if you happen to, if you watch it later, because I know there's nobody in here right now. But if you know why, when I post links on Twitter to my own channel, my own videos, or my own stream, it doesn't pop up with a thumbnail. It just pops up with a link, and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if it's me just fucking it up or what. But I can post links to like other YouTube channels, other YouTube videos, whatever, and the thumbnail shows up with no issue. But I have no idea why it does it for me like that. So hell, I don't even know right now. I don't even know if the video is good to go. It's another thing. I don't know why I did that. Hmm. I'll have to look into that after the stream. I thought I was paying for the total service on Melon, but um, it appears that they've messed up my account. So we'll see what happens there. So all right, well, I'll have to look into that. Not sure why it's doing that. Let me do a real quick check. I'll try to talk while I'm doing this so not to keep you completely bored out of your mind. So, yeah, as you can see, that's not working out real well, is it? So, I don't even know if this will work. I don't know if this will kill my stream. Last time I last time I had a stream, I had it with Cody of Jack Irons, and everything went pretty well until towards the end when my internet decided to go out on me. Thanks, Spectrum. So hopefully I won't have that issue today, but see what happens. All right. Well, here's my issue with Melon right now. I was subbed to them and paying for the monthly so I could have 1080 streaming and all the bells and whistles, right? And then they sent me an email saying, "Hey, you know what? We really like to have you as a customer." Apparently, they don't go through their mailing list, but so they offered it to me for a lot cheaper price. So, in my infinite wisdom, I thought, okay, I'll cancel what I currently have and take advantage of this cheaper price. Well, since when you cancel, it's prorated, so you get it until the end of what you paid for. I couldn't resub, which is weird. Couldn't resub, so I couldn't lock in the price. So I sent them information, via support email. They got back with me and said, "Oh yeah, we'll take care of that. Don't worry. Here's all this." So I thought I was resubbed to them. Well, apparently I'm not, because I can right now. You're watching the stream in 720. It should be 1080. So I'm gonna have to fix that. So that's kind of bugging me right now, but I guess I'll just have to deal with it for right now. See what happens. So, um, so if anybody gets around to watching this video, because it doesn't look like anybody's in here right now, this is one of the reasons why I don't stream on Twitch. I attempted to do it, just drawing. Unless you're a big name, somebody that been working in the comic book industry a long time, or you've established yourself as some sort of freelance artist, fantasy artist, sci-fi artist, whatever. maybe you've, you know, hustled a long time doing it. There were a couple artists that on Twitch that I used to watch while they had their draw streams, and they'd have, between 30 and 50 people in there on a given night watching them. And I know that they worked a long time. They hustled for years to even get that amount of viewership. But somebody like me, nobody knows who the hell I am, right? Nobody's going to tune in. Nobody's going to tune in to watch this. They're just not. I'm not David Finch. I'm not. I think Jim Lee used to stream, not so much like he used to, but big name guys like that. You can even count. You can count. I know a lot of people are familiar with Ethan, right? Ethan Van Sciver. If he's drawn, people probably tune in to watch. Well, I know they do. I've seen it before. So people tune in to watch. Eric Canetti, people watch him stream draw. Good stuff. Somebody like me that doesn't do it on the regular, don't know who I am, they're not going to tune in. So it's one of the reasons why I'm talking to myself right now. But if you watch this later, this is what I'm working on. This is just something I started last night about 2 o'clock in the morning. Recently, I've gotten into playing Necromunda. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that game. It's a tabletop miniature game. It's by Games Workshop. Basically, you play a gang in the Underhive. I don't know if you're familiar. The Underhive is pretty much the basement dredge of a huge hive city, and gangs kind of rule it. And so Necromunda is a game where each player plays a gang and you fight over territory. Okay, little miniatures. And so I'm drawing a member of the Goliath gang here. So that's what this is. I started this last night about 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, I guess it was this morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. And so I'm just experimenting with it, position. I finally settled on this pose, this kind of a standard look, I'm a tough guy pose. He's standing on probably some rubble and debris, maybe a couple corpses of hivers that got in his way, maybe. So I really try to stay real generic when I'm drawing backgrounds, just because cat's sitting here on top of my desk wanting attention. So it's my granddaughter's cat, jet black cat, female, demands attention, don't you? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I try to stay generic with the backgrounds or stuff like this. It just all depends on. It all depends on what I'm drawing. So I do need to look up Goliath Ganger Sledge. To be more specific about this, because just like any fandom, right? Fans of Necromunda, fans of Games Workshop, and especially fans of the Goliath game, would like to have their equipment and stuff very specific, right? You can't just throw anything out there that kind of looks like something, because they'll call you out on it. I don't blame them. That's what fans do. When you're a big fan of something, you want it represented correctly. You don't want people mucking it up. So when I do stuff like this, I try to be as accurate as I can. Sometimes I don't get it right. Apologize for that. Well, you know what? I'm not going to apologize for it. Sometimes I don't get it right. Every artist does things a little differently. There are very few properties or IPs that you have to be dead nuts right about. And if you're not, you're going to hear about it. If you drew Batman with a red suit, right? If you drew the Batman cowl and the hood with no ears. If you drew Superman without a red cape, maybe. Or like the little S curl in his hair, right? I know some people have done that. I'm one of those people like, wait a minute, that's one of the things that makes Superman Superman, his little hairdo. Got to get that right. In my mind, got to get that right. But, And with stuff like Necromunda, anything Games Workshop-y, I don't even know if that's a word, but you got to get the weapons right. I remember I had this piece of art. Here, I'll show it to you. Let's see here. I'll have to look it up and see where it's at. So give me a second. So another thing that bothers me that's going on here. Anybody else have a NAS system? Where you have external hard drives that work together. I do, and I thought I was doing it for good reasons, and now I wish I'd never done it. Because I have a terabyte drive with a bunch of work files on it, and art, and I tried to switch it over from my NAS to my internally on my computer, just make it another hard drive. And of course you can't because they're formatted differently. And so I'm going to have to get another drive, install it, right? Format it, correct format, and then transfer all that information over if I want to get rid of my NAS. And I just haven't gotten around to it. But the problem I have with it is sometimes especially if Windows gets updated and the computer reboots, it doesn't recognize the drive, and so I have to go in and remap it all over again. So yes, it's probably something I'm doing wrong. Setup, whatever, I don't know, but it's a pain in the ass, and so I'd like to change it. I just don't have the time to do it right now. So let me see if I can find this here piece of art we're talking about with Necromunda and how fans like to have their things correct, right? So look it up and find it. Yeah, okay, here it is. Okay, here it is. So this is a picture I did back in 2020, and it is of again a Goliath ganger fighting their nemesis gang, the Eschers, all female gang. all their males are pathetic betas that they experiment on. All the females are warriors. Kind of like your Amazon, your future cyberpunk Amazon chicks. Anyways, and they're big rivals. Okay. And so I drew this picture just for fun, having funsies. And somebody called me out on the weapon that Dash was holding, plasma pistol. I have to get you the exact name of it. I'm sure if anybody watches this and they're big Games Workshop fans or Warhammer 40K fans, they'll be able to tell you. But I think I thought I'd gotten it right. I looked it up, reference and everything, but I'd gotten something wrong. And somebody, had commented, how come you don't know how to draw the specific name pistol? And that hurt. That cut me deep. No, it really didn't. But I understand, fans want their stuff represented, right? Some are forgiving, some not so much. So whenever you're drawing someone else's IP or you're drawing something for fandom, you have to take that to account when you're drawing it. Hey, you know what? Some people might not like this. Okay. They might not like this. Maybe you screwed something up. That's why I'm very critical of my art when I'm drawing something for, uh, for existing IPs, right? That have a huge fandom. So, all right, yeah, that's a lot of dead space, a lot of dead airspace. Sorry about that. Uh, like I said, I'm not a radio guy. You could tell by my voice. I I'm probably not made to do YouTube channel or stream. But today I thought it would just be kind of fun. Try to practice. At least I learned one thing. I learned that Melon totally screwed up my account. So now I've got to fix it. In the meantime, I will just mess around here in this piece of art. So Necromunda, I just got into it. I love tabletop games. I played tabletop games since the 80s. My first tabletop game ever was a game called Advanced Hero Quest. It was more of a board game, but you played with little fantasy miniatures on a board. And it's kind of like a dungeon crawler, if anybody's familiar with that. You play a group of adventurers like you do in D&D, but it's on a board and you have specific numbers you shoot for on 6-sided dice. Kill the monsters in the dungeon, pretty much. Then me and my friends at the time played a lot of BattleTech. We got into BattleTech. Actually, I have the very first release of BattleTech, which was called Battle Droids. And it was in a box, much like the first edition box of BattleTech. Everything looked the same, except the title. It's called Battle Droids. And we really got into that. It was a lot of fun. We bought a lot of the old Ralph Partha metal miniatures, painted those up. We even started a campaign. I had a buddy of mine, Jim. Sorry, not John. Jim, who made up a campaign based on the Mech Warrior um, RPG rule set that was for BattleTech at that time. That was before the video games, obviously. We play on, it was like a 6 foot by 6 foot board that another friend of mine had set up in his basement. We'd show up on a Friday, usually Friday night around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. We play till 6 in the morning. Sometimes we do that Friday and Saturday. And it was a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun. We played other games too. We used to play this game called Supremacy. It's a board game. It's kind of like, it was kind of like Risk on steroids. Supremacy was. Boy, we played a lot. We played some RPGs like Rollmaster. There's its sci-fi counterpart. I think it was called Space Master. I could be wrong. I have to look that up. But used to play, anyways. Long story short, we used to play a lot of tabletop games when I was a lot younger. Things happen, life happens, we move on. I kind of got out of it until a couple years ago. Probably, I don't know. Probably around the start of all this stuff, whatever you want to call it, pandemic, COVID shit, whatever. Right before all that, I got back into it. I started playing. I found a group of guys locally here. I started playing Funday. It's a tabletop skirmish game by Corvus Belli out of Spain, I believe. And their aesthetic is very Eastern. It's like very anime. The models and the art are very reminiscent of either manga or like Appleseed type artwork, things like that. If you're familiar with the comic Appleseed, let me see if I can find some artwork for you. Show off. You'd think that their online store or their online website would have like some. It probably does. I just don't know where it's at. Find some or have some art. Yeah, it does. Wallpapers. Let's look at some wallpapers. Should give you the general aesthetic of. Um, it looks like it's gonna make me download it, which I'm not a big fan of that. Oh no, it's not. Okay. So this is Ariadna. This is a faction. I think they're based more. Their history and lore is more. It's kind of based off the Americas, U.S. and specifically, and so you can see that this is kind of the art style for Infinity. Let's see one of their heavy infantry. Let's see if I can find one of those. Eugene, which is like a Chinese. They're kind of based on Chinese. Yeah, here we go. Here's one. So they have like these mobile suits. They're like powered armor, and so so You can see kind of the aesthetic on what they shoot for. This is just a very small sample, and the miniatures are really good miniatures. They're metal miniatures. I think they produce them themselves. They're in Spain, but they're really detailed 28 mil miniatures, and they're great. Very dynamic posing, things of that nature. So I got, make a long story short, I digress. I got into that game, to have something to do, take me away from the desk and the art board, and give me other things to do. And I was having a lot of fun. And then, 2020 happened and everything got shut down. So kind of lost touch with the people we were playing with, and no place to go to play, and nobody wanted to play, and so it kind of killed my interest in it a little bit. I'm going to be honest. So, but that didn't kill my interest in tabletop games or miniatures or painting miniatures or even. Let me move this way. Printing miniatures. All right. We got a little Mars 2 there, cleaning station. And so I got into resin 3D printing, which is a blast, a lot of fun. But I started painting more miniatures. I got into games that were more soloable. Is that a word? Soloable? Yeah. Solo friendly. Things like 5 parsecs from home, 5 leagues from the borderlands, Rangers of Shadow Deep, Core Space. These are all tabletop miniature games that you can play solo. And actually, most of them are written to play solo. So I got into that, invested some money in rule sets and tabletop terrain and stuff like that. And just recently, my grandson, he's 19, by the way. You know what? It reminds me, April this month. I turn older. I turn 1 year older, but my granddaughter turns 21. Makes me feel so old. But my grandson, who's 19, expressed an interest in playing, right? So we kind of settled on a game of Necromunda. We're also going to try out Kill Team, the new Kill Team, because they have small model counts, right? They have games that you could play with smaller number of models per side. That's always good. I don't know. In the Warhammer 40K universe, the game proper is Warhammer 40K, where you have big, huge armies, 2,000, 3,000 point army. Probably, I don't know. I've never played it. All I've done is I've seen people play, and they're a huge number of models, which you can get very, very expensive. Not to mention the time that's needed to devote to painting miniatures. So that's not something I ever wanted to do. I mean, I like painting. I like painting miniatures, but I don't want it to be like a full-time job or even a part-time job. I want it to be a hobby, something I enjoy doing. I can just sit down and do whenever. So we settled on Necromunda, which is smallish, and then Kill Team. And so got into it. I've been going to a local Warhammer store and playing Necromunda with another new player, and that's been fun. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just, boy, that seems like we went a long, long way to figure out why I'm drawing a Goliath Ganger from Necromunda as my Sunday fun piece, right? So I'm going to quickly pull up reference for this, for his sledge. There's a lot with axes. Oh, here's one. It's not quite what I want to draw, but again, I think they're called spanners. Let me look here. Let me look. I have melta guns, bolt guns. I'm not really interested in the gun. A maul, brute cleaver, two-handed hammer, two-handed axe. That looks like the big. It's not going to be an axe. I can guarantee you that. Two-handed hammer, maybe, if I can find a good picture of it. Or a maul. Even though I've heard people say they didn't really like the maul as a weapon in the game, but I'm not sure why. I've never played a Goliath. I've actually only played course grinders, but I want to play the Palanite Enforcers. And I do have models to build a gang for the Goliaths. So been thinking about that as well. So it looks like the hammer. It looks like the maul just looks like one of those cartoon round mauls. You know, like big round. I don't know how to put it. Um, Big round head on it, right? Oh well, here's an older model that has more of a square. I think I'll just use that one. If anybody asks me, I'll say, "Oh no, that's the old '90s version of it. It's not the newer version." So yeah, I'll probably do that. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. So this right here is just going to be standard. Well, not it's going to be. It's not going to be your standard. It's going to be more like a sledge. It's just going to be more grim, darky, or sci-fi, or fantastical. It's not going to be like a real world one. So I think that's where I'm going to go with that. So I wish I could find I wish I could find a clear picture of the hammer. Um, Hush, you can't get over here. Cat. Yeah, there's really no good. I mean, they have a couple pictures that look a little different, um, but maybe I'll just improvise a little bit. In Warhammer 40K, there's always a lot of skulls. There's always a lot of skulls everywhere. So you can never go wrong with adding a skull. Let's see what I want to do here. One in the picture I see has like this weird brace on it, something to mount the head to. Um, Kind of looks like this. I don't even know how important it is to get details in here because the nature of the image is more like a sketch. This is not going to be a refined image. It's not going to be something like, oh, this is going on the cover of a book or in a game publication or anything like that. This is just me farting around. So I don't know how detailed I'm going to get with it. So this looks like. Just adding in some of the little details to try to tie it into the actual Necromunda universe. This particular piece of plastic that I'm looking at for reference, like I said, has a skull right around here somewhere. And then just a single bone like this. This is going to have to be redone, I can tell. And the skull has a mohawk on it. Well, because if you know anything about Goliaths, they love their mohawks. I kind of tried to put that. He doesn't really have a mohawk. I mean, he does. It's more like a, I don't know what to call that. Where the sides of the head are kind of shaved, both sides, and then you get the crop of hair on top, but it's long. So I don't know if they call that a mohawk or not. Maybe they do. Maybe it's a short mohawk. I don't know. So yeah. So that's what this thing is right here. So I just roughed it in real quick before I go in here and refine it. Because right now it looks like a cartoon guy with a huge nose. Let's see if I can't fix it up a little bit. So try to make it more of a skull. So I would ask questions, but yeah, looks like we're a little thin on the viewership. So another thing that kind of tells me, Bruce, maybe that's not your thing. Don't stream, right? That would be a good talking point of what compels YouTube viewers to watch people draw. Does it only have to be that they're good at it, or do they have to have a story behind them, or do they have to be known for other things? Maybe they're just known for art. How well known do they have to be? I mean, I've watched artists on YouTube, okay? On Twitch as well, but on YouTube, do a draw stream, right? They'll do a draw stream. They'll have between 200, maybe 500 people watching them, but they've got 200,000 subs. If you think about it, that's barely over 1%, more like 2%. 2% of the subscriber base is actually watching them while they're live streaming. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of things that go into that: time of day, what day it is, subject matter. I'm sure. I'm sure that there's all kinds of variables that go into that. But it seems to me that the same artist get more viewership when they're not doing art. Maybe they're doing, I don't know, maybe they're doing something else. But, so I don't know how viable, unless you're, I know I'm going to butcher his name up. Uh, oh, you know what? I'll try not to butcher it up. I'll just look it up real quick. I'm still going to butcher his name. Trent Kanuga. He used to work for, well, he did a comic book called Creed. I think he actually just recently did something with Ethan Van Sciver, some sort of crossover with his IP and Ethan's IP. But he used to work for Blizzard. Maybe he still does. Concept artist, whatever. Really great artist. I don't think I've ever seen him live stream, but unless you're an artist like that, um, like I said, David Finch, he live streams every Monday, I believe. I just don't know how many viewers you're going to get, is what I'm getting at. Especially me. I'm not going to get a lot. I got to figure out something else to do if I want to stream. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just do videos, but I don't know what to do videos about. Uh, Things that interest me, maybe. Gaming interests me. Comics do interest me, but not to the point that I want to. I mean, I know that's going to come out wrong. Uh, Comics, I enjoy comics. Right now, comics are my job. That's kind of how I earn a living, if you can call it that. I'm a smallish, independent type artist, so I do make money at it. It's just that I don't make as much as I would like, right? So, um, comics. I spend a lot of time with comics, especially indie comics, and I don't know if I want to spend another 2-3 hours a day making a video, editing a video where I'm talking about comics, if that makes any sense. I'd like to do it about games and gaming, and a hobby that I really enjoy, which is gaming, tabletop gaming. Uh, I tried streaming video games one time, and it kind of goes like this, right? I'm busy playing the video game. I'm not talking. And that's another thing. In order to be successful at this, you have to be talking all the time. You have to be entertaining. Um, unless you have nobody watching the stream, and then of course you're just talking to dead air, right? You're just talking to nobody, and hopefully somebody later will watch it, and maybe they'll glean some entertainment out of it. I don't know. And then when you take deep drinks, and if the mic picks it up, but so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. Might not do YouTube at all. Except I have another channel. It's called Brands of Rock, and it's tabletop. It's all about tabletop gaming. I have one video up where I explained the Conan Fantasy Grounds Conan extension that I wrote. So you use Fantasy Grounds with Conan 2D20 system. That's really the only video I've got up there, except for a little intro I made for other videos when I get other videos up. But that channel is just going to be exclusively me talking about tabletop games and an actual solo tabletop rule set that I've been working on for months. It's called Cell Swords. And going over the rule set for that, trying to get people together to play test the thing. And then eventually to the point where, I can release it probably on Wargame Vault as a PDF. And it'll probably be really cheap because I've also been working on some 3D models, 3D miniatures, basically, that you could print, right? For this game. Right now, the game is written as miniature agnostic, which means you could use whatever miniatures that you have to play the game. But eventually, I'd like to have my own line for the game because I have a sci-fi setting for it as well, and I have an Old West setting for it too. So if you want to play cowboys and outlaws and lawmen and whatever else in the Old West you want to play. So that's what that channel is going to be about. So, let's see what I'm going to do here. I think I've been at this for almost an hour. And just talking to myself. So I don't know. I'll probably wrap it up here in about 7 minutes or so. I don't like this at all. And plus, I'm too close. I'm too zoomed in. It's another thing if you're sketching and drawing. If you find yourself really zoomed in on an image, immediately get out of that. That's the way I draw. I guess you don't have to draw that. If you like drawing like this, way zoomed in really high, and trying to get all that detail. That's the problem that I run into. If I get anywhere over like 50%, because I work at 400 DPI, usually 9x12 when I'm doing pinup stuff. If I get over 50%, that's way too close. Because then I start to get bogged down in trying to draw details before I have all of the basic stuff in, right? So I always if I get too close, I always get back out to around 30%, 32%, something like that. Um, 'Cause I tend to like this rough look, anyways. This rough sketch look. I mean, I know comic books go for that clean black line art and all that. I don't know. I mean, some of it's good. Just never been a big fan of it. I like it when I see what the artist did, right? Just even sometimes seeing those construction lines underneath. Not totally be overbearing, where they be overbearing, but a hint of them, you know, just something. I don't know. Just I've always like that. So, anyways, I think I'm gonna go with something like that. I was looking at the reference that I got pulled up. Mine is not the exact thing that's on here, but kind of hints at some of that. So that's good enough for me. A lot of this is going to be, it's going to be shaded in. It's in shadow, so, you know. Anyway. Well, you know what? I think, like I said, it's been an hour. I haven't been able to entice anybody to come in. I could work on this streaming all day, but I have to take a break in between a little bit. I don't like to sit at the computer for more than, I don't know, hour and a half or whatever. I got to get up and stretch my legs, things like that. So I think what I'll do is I'll shut this stream down, consider it like a test stream. At least I did learn something. Like I said, mentioned earlier, I need to bitch out Melon because they screwed up my account, and so I can, if I do this again, I could do it in 1080. But other than that, if you guys watch this later, I appreciate you watching the whole thing. Which, if you do, Crom bless you. Okay. Uh, but thanks a lot, and I appreciate it. And hopefully, I'll figure out something that I enjoy doing that's interesting. So, y'all have a good Sunday. Have a good following week. Yeah, that's all I got to say. Go check out my other channel, by the way. Later.